الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيد خلق الله. أما بعد, we often encounter when reading Quran or Hadith or studying matters of deen, we encounter concepts or ideas that we find difficult to reconcile, or they may appear to be contradicting even. And sometimes we get a feeling of maybe even shame. How can that be, that I'm understanding something to be contradicting in the Hadith or in the Quran? So you don't even address it, or you just let it slide. And other times it keeps lingering, it keeps bugging you, just like something that is not unresolved, and you have to keep going back and forth to it. What to do? What to do when we face these situations? Or to start with, let's pose even a simpler question: is it normal to have that kind of an encounter? Of course it is. We all have that, and better men and women than us have had that in Sahaba Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nonetheless. So I think I mentioned to you, but again, because there is a little bit of a diversity in the attendance today, I'm going to give you that one example one more time. It will put things in perspective and get us going on this subject matter. And that is, on one occasion, Sattina Aisha, radiallahu anha wa ardaha, she wanted an interpretation from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam about one verse in Surah Al-Mu'minun. Verse number 60. Verse number 60. And the verse goes as follows: وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْتُونَ مَا آتَوْا وَقُلُوبُهُمْ وَجِلَةٌ أَنَّهُمْ إِلَى رَبِّهِمْ رَاجِعُونَ. The verse states that it's addressing those who do what they do with fearful hearts, because they're going back to Allah. Because they're going back to Allah. So Sattina Aisha asked Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Ya Rasulullah, does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mean by this ayah those who steal, drink alcohol and commit, transgressions, but nonetheless are fearful because they're going back to Allah, so they're fearing the punishment? فَرَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ responded by saying, لا يا ابنة الصديق، لا يا ابنة الصديق. A term of endearment, يا ابنة الصديق, the daughter of a Siddiq, right, Aisha? It's not what Allah meant by that, but indeed what He meant was those who fast, those who pray, those who give sadaqat, and after all of these good deeds are worried that maybe Allah doesn't accept from them. You see the take? 180 degrees opposite to what came into the heart of Sattina Aisha, of the understanding of the Quran she read. It's normal to happen. But what she did was, she asked the teacher and got the right answer. So the first thing to do is follow the advice of the Quran al-Kareem when Allah Azza wa Jalla says, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. If you don't know, ask those who do. They may clear things up for you. Okay, if you find those, barakah. And by the way, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ in verbatim appears in two places in the Quran al-Kareem. In Surah Nahl 43 and in Surah Al-Anbiya 7. Verbatim. فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Which means that is a message that is important, that Allah felt the need to repeat it twice in the Quran. طيب. So, for us, what do we do when we face some of these situations? We try and get some ilm, right? And I'm going to give you a few examples tonight, inshallah, of situations that seem to be conflicting. And the operative word here is seem to be, because to start with, we all agree that there should be no contradiction between the Quran and Quran, or the Quran or Hadith, or the Hadith or Hadith. There cannot be a contradiction. Correct? طيب. We recited in the first rak'ah of Al-Isha the khawatim of Surah Al-Baqarah. These are heavyweight verses, the last couple of verses of Surah Al-Baqarah. Aman al-Rasul. These verses are verses that are very characteristic in the Quran Kareem. What is the main characteristic of those two verses, Aman al-Rasul? Well, the entire Quran was sent to Nabi Rahma alayhi salatu wasalam through Amin Wahi Sama Jibreel, right? Except for those verses. Except for those two verses. When Nabi Rahma sallallahu alayhi wasallam received them in al-Mi'raj from Rabb al-Izzah, one-on-one. Subhanallah. The only two verses that were not given to Nabi alayhi salam through Jibreel were these two verses. And these are blessed verses. You would like to recite them whenever you have a chance to, for their barakah. Now, when we recited that, we said, لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وإن تبدوا ما في أنفسكم أو تخفوه يحاسبكم به الله. Now we get down to business. وإن تبدوا ما في أنفسكم أو تخفوه يحاسبكم به الله. If whether you make apparent or clear what's inside of you, or you keep it bottled in to yourself, Allah will hold you accountable for it. يحاسبكم به الله. Allah will hold you accountable for it. Not only that, فيغفر لمن يشاء ويعذب من يشاء. Afterwards, subhanallah, you are at the mercy back. You're leaving yourself at the mercy. Allah may forgive, Allah may punish. Wallahu ala kulli shay'in qadir. And that is a statement of a stern warning. It's a stern warning. When يغفر من يشاء ويعذب من يشاء والله على كل شيء قدير. When you read that, you have to be forewarned. طيب. In this ayah, Allah is saying, whether you declare or you keep to yourself what's inside of you, you will be held accountable for it. طيب. We have a hadith sahih wherein النبي عليه السلام says what? من هم بحسنة ولم يفعلها كتبت له حسنة. He who intends to do a hasana and doesn't do it shall be given the reward of the hasana. خلاص؟ طيب, the rest of the hadith is what? ومن هم بسيئة ولم يفعلها كتبت له حسنة. And he who intends to do an ill deed but doesn't do it, holds back, Allah will give him a reward for that. Allah. So now I present you with the dilemma. The verse of Surah Al-Baqarah saying, whether you declare it or you keep it, Allah will hold you accountable to it. The hadith is saying what? Saying differently. It's saying, if you intend to do a good deed and you don't do it, you get the reward of a hasan. If you intend to do a bad deed and you stop yourself from doing it, you also get a hasan. Because in this case, نهيت نفسك عن المنكر, which is a good thing, right? That's it. When then in the first one, if you intended to do a good deed and you didn't, you are following the reward because you're getting the reward because following the hadith of إنما الأعمال بالنيات. So you had the good intention to do it, and for some reason you didn't, you get the reward. But if you intended a bad deed and you didn't do it, you get a hasana. We need a reconciliation here. So the panel is open now. How do you reconcile the apparent, air quotes, the apparent conflict or contradiction between the verse and the hadith. Is that premise clear, or does it need any further clarification? It's clear. Any takers? Mr. Shahid.
Okay, my understanding would be that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us from the hadith that yes, if you intend to do a good deed and you do it, you'll get a reward for that. If you intend to do a bad deed but you don't do it, you still get a reward for that. But I would take that to mean that you intended to do a bad deed, but then your good intentions overcame and you withheld from it.
No.
Not because circumstances prevented you from doing the bad deed. It's that you overcame your bad intention and stopped yourself because you overpowered your bad inclination. That is a deed of merit, and that's why Allah will reward you.
Very good.
As far as the Quranic saying, that to me means it's helping me hold myself accountable and not take for a guarantee of Allah's mercy. It warns me that whether I state my intention openly or not, whether it is a good intention or bad intention, Allah will store.
You'll be held accountable.
He may forgive me, He may, but that is what we pray for. But never take a guarantee that I'm on the good side.
Any further clarification may be welcome also. No takers? Sheikh Ali? Not yet?
Today.
That's okay.
Well, isn't
I always recognize when you have a long day. SubhanAllah. Allah
Mr.
Shahid.
Whatever Quran says is Hadith is explaining one step further in that matter. And that's what he was explaining very well.
Right. But still the contradiction is
Contradiction is still there. I agree with you.
But you didn't untangle it in its entirety.
How do you see contradiction? I don't see that.
إن تبدوا وإن تبدوا ما في أنفسكم أو تخفوه يحاسبكم به الله. Allah will hold you accountable to.
But he didn't say how he can يحاسبكم.
معلش. فيغفر لمن يشاء ويعذب من يشاء. He explained.
Yeah.
So.
But he didn't say the way يحاسبكم. يحاسبكم. He didn't put.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's not elaborated. That is true.
I mean, maybe the hadith is explaining how you're going to do it.
Yeah.
The details.
Right.
يحاسبكم.
Okay. Any more takers? Right. Let's go a little bit further and say that it's imperative that when we look into a verse of the Quran Kareem, you don't do what some people do, especially the youth, when they start getting some knowledge of the deen. You get the verse and you run with it, or you get the hadith and you fly with it, as if this is the end of the world. And the fact is, people who interpreted the Quran Kareem, the heavyweights of interpretation, what they did was they interpreted the Quran by Quran. You see? Yani, they look into a verse, so they search elsewhere and see, where did Allah address this concept or this idea elsewhere? And they go and they compare and they see Asbab al-Nuzul in both cases. What were the occasions of the revelation? And they go into that kind of a depth of analysis. So, first thing to be warned about is we cannot take an extraction and assume that it is the whole story. And I'll tell you about that in a little while, but let me resolve this one the best I can. And then I will tell you what another example of what I meant to say here. When this verse came and the Sahaba heard it for the first time, oh, they were all alarmed. The Sahaba were extremely alarmed. Allah, وإن تبدوا ما في أنفسكم أو تخفوه يحاسبكم به الله. يعني طب ما we all know that there is a lot of turmoil that goes inside يا أخي سبحان الله. يحاسبكم به الله. طب احنا we're in trouble كده. The Sahaba felt they're in trouble and they went and they يعني asked Rasulullah, يعني this is too heavy a burden يا Rasulullah. It's too heavy a burden. Which indeed it is. And here we come to the intervention of the concept of الناسخ والمنسوخ في القرآن. The superseding and the superseded verses of the Quran al-Karim. In the following verse, wherein Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says what? لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Allah doesn't burden any nafs with more than it can carry. He's not going to put on your shoulders that which you cannot bear. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. A rule, a generic rule from العلي القدير. We have to accept it as it is. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. And then he says what? لها ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت. This verse supersedes the previous one because it says what? Every nafs is going to be gaining the good deeds that it did do, كسبت, meaning it did actually do, وعليها ما اكتسبت, and it will be held accountable for those things that it actually did. And now there is a big transformation from what's going on inside of the chests out to the actual deeds. If you did a good deed, it's for you. If you did a bad deed, it's held accountable. You're held accountable for that. So now, that, when it came, by the way, the Sahaba were relieved. They were relieved. Alhamdulillah. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. لا ما كسب. We're only going to be held accountable for our deeds now. Allah's not going to tell you, oh, you intended to do a bad deed there, I'm going to punish you for it. No. He's going to tell you, you did a bad deed, and this is the punishment for it, or maghfirah for it, which we all seek before the Lord. So, the simple notion of knowing that there is a nasikh and mansukh, there is a superseding and superseded verses, gives us the resolution in this case between the hadith and the ayah, right? Because now there is no conflict. Now there is no conflict. لا ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت. من هم بحسنة ولم يفعلها كتبت له حسنة، ومن هم بسيئة ولم يفعلها كتبت له حسنة. It reconciles. It reconciles. So that is how it's important that we don't take a snapshot and imagine that it is the whole truth and nothing but the truth. It's not. It's not. You have to have a little bit more and wider lens when you look at things as such. And I always cite the example of the occasion when my son, for some reason we were discussing about Sunnat Salat al-Dhuhr. Sunnat Salat al-Dhuhr. And I said to him, what is the Sunnah of al-Dhuhr? And he said, emphatically, the youth, they're always sure. He said, 4 rak'ah before, 4 rak'ah after. And when he said that, I kept looking at him. And it's my son, so he knows his dad. I looked at him with a smile. So he knew. He said, what? What? Is there anything else? I said, yes, there is. There is more to it than just that. What you said is part of the truth. It is not the entire truth. You go to books of fiqh and see Sunnat al-Dhuhr. You will find hadith. And Abdullah ibn Umar will say to you that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam prayed Sunnat al-Dhuhr 2 rak'ah before al-Dhuhr and 2 rak'ah after al-Dhuhr. Allah, his jaw drops a little. And I say, well, Aisha says that Rasulullah ﷺ prayed 4 rak'ah before Dhuhr and 2 rak'ah after Dhuhr as sunnah. The jaw drops even further. And then I say, then Salam says what you said here. And Nabi ﷺ prayed 4 before and 4 after. So sunnah al-dhuhr is what? Can be 4 rak'ah, can be 6 rak'ah, can be 8 rak'ah. And Nabi did all of that. So it's like those multiple choice questions when you have them, and then there is D which says all of the above, right? And it is the right answer. It is the right answer because the Nabi did all of the above.
So when you say 4, 6 or 8, are you including the
No, the sunnah.
Sunnah.
The
Yes.
sunnah. Before and after the faridah.
2 and 2.
Did he pray just fard without sunnah?
That's a good question. That's a good question. And I don't have an answer for that, but that's a difficult question as a matter of fact. So I cannot say if he did.
But Asr is only 4, right?
Nah,
Fard.
manage, yeah. But I think what Ara is alluding to is for Aisha, for example, did he, alayhi salatu wasalam, on occasion do 4 rak'ah Aisha and then walks away? I don't know about that.
I think
Probably not, yeah.
there is a hadith about the sunnah that the Prophet ﷺ never left.
Sunan mu'akkada, confirmed
That
sunan.
he never left.
Sahih.
Amongst them, the witr.
Na'am.
Even when he's ala safar and the sunnah of fajr. The same
نعم
thing.
شلون الفرج ركعتين خفاف
Yes.
خفيفة نعم يا شيخ شكيب.
But I think there are times when the Nabi ﷺ in the city made qasr.
Yes.
أيوة.
Yes, yes.
So that means he didn't pray the
See, that's a very good interpretation.
What is
That's a
qasr?
good
qasr. He
interpretation.
prayed al-duhr 2 rak'ahs in the city, staying,
And not only that, I'm going to,
not traveling.
you know the qasr of the salah when you pray the 4 rak'ah prayer as 2 when you're traveling. You know that
Yes,
one?
yes, that
Now
one.
this is qasr.
Qasr. Okay.
Nah.
من غير سفر.
That بغير سفر is what
بغير
Shaykh is saying.
No.
And he did jam' dhuhr asr at times also when he's not traveling.
والله في الحضر.
في الحاضر.
من غير سفر.
من
والله
غير
في
سفر.
الحضر.
نعم. So, and by the way, this is what some of the, well, we don't want to get into the Shia and the Sunnah,
No,
because,
that's
but yeah, they have their own interpretation about that. So they do the prayers 3 times a day. They do Dhuhr or Asr together, and they do Maghrib Isha together all the time, which is really not what's intended. But in Nabi, when he did it, إنه جمع وقصر في غير سفر وغير مرض. يعني he was well and he was within his يعني environment, and he did. Why did he do so? عليه الصلاة والسلام, to give us a license. He gives you the license. To give you the license. To tell you that this deen is not rigid. This deen is not frozen. It is flexible. It is accepting. You want to do 2 rak'ah before Dhuhr and 2 rak'ah after Dhuhr. You want to do 4 before 2 after Dhuhr. You want to do 4 after Dhuhr. But don't come to somebody and tell him, if you don't do 4 after and 4 before, you are against the Sunnah. Now you've taken part of the picture and generalized it.
What about Jummah?
Jum'ah?
What
What about the Jummah?
We have 4 rakat sunnah. Some people pray. We pray 4 rakat sunnah, and then after that we put 4 plus 2 sunnah.
La.
So is that
That's not confirmed on Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
okay?
And what Sheikh Ali mentioned right now is really important, which is the confirmed sunnah. The confirmed sunnah, which are the sunnah that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam did not part from. يعني, for example, Salat al-Eidain. Salat al-Eid is not a fard. يعني, if you don't pray Salat al-Eid, you did not gain an ism or
There's
no.
no qada.
No qada. Yeah. But in Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam never left Salat al-Eidain. Always did them. Always did. Tamam? So this is called a confirmed sunnah. Sunnah mu'akkada. On the other hand, he had other sunnah. For example, then he had a couple of rak'ahs at the duha time. والضحى والليل إذا سجى. مش كده? Duha is the mean time between the Fajr and the Dhuhr. Somewhere maybe around 10, 11 o'clock a.m. Somewhere in this vicinity. Yeah. He had those 2 rak'ahs. But what did the Sahaba say about it? Or Zawjat al-Nabi say about him? They said that Rasulullah kept doing those 2 rak'ahs to the point that we felt he will never let go of them. Yeah, he will keep doing them forever. But then he would let them go. He would not keep them up for long times that we would think he would never go back to them. You see? So again, it is one of those examples wherein the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam wants to tell you it's a good thing to have those 2 rak'ahs, but it is not really a bad thing if you don't manage to keep them up. That's the beauty of this deen. Going back to our subject matter now, the conflicts that may appear. There is a hadith, آية المنافق 3. We studied that one when we were little kids at school. آية المنافق 3. The sign of a hypocrite, the signs of a hypocrite are 3. إذا حدث كذب، وإذا وعد أخلف، وإذا اؤتمن خان. 3 signs that you can tell a hypocrite by. إذا حدث كذب. When he speaks, he lies. He doesn't speak the truth. وإذا وعد أخلف. When he promises, he doesn't fulfill. وإذا اؤتمن خان. If he's being entrusted, he will betray that trust. تمام؟ 3. طيب. Hadith, by the way, Abu Hurairah. Narration by Abu Hurairah. فين؟ في البخاري. يعني because we are not going to go into a hadith like a trick question to a hadith that is not hadith sahih مثلا, and then we find the conflict and we say because the hadith is not sahih. That's a side track that we don't get into now. We're getting into a hadith that is sahih. طيب, there is another hadith. الراوي هنا is Abdullah ibn Amr. Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As. صحيح البخاري. What does he say? 4 من كنا فيه كان منافقا خالصا. 4 traits. If they are in a person, he is a pure hypocrite. إذا حدث كذب، وإذا وعد أخلف، وإذا عاهد غدر، وإذا خاصم فجر. The first 2 are the same first 2 of the previous hadith. إذا حدث كذب, if he speaks he lies. إذا وعد أخلف, if he promises he doesn't fulfill. But then 2 other aspects are coming in, and إذا اؤتمن خان is not included in that second narration. إذا عاهد غدر، وإذا خاصم فجر. إذا عاهد غدر meaning if he has a عهد with somebody, a treaty for example, or an oath of doing something or not doing something, and he betrays that oath. That's a sign of a munafiq. وَإِذَا خَاصَمَ فَجَرَ. And he who, when gets into a feud or a dispute with somebody, he escalates it to the maximum. He always goes to the end with that.
Meaning religious matters?
Not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
You and your fellow Muslim brother, you have a dispute, he told you something you didn't like and you had a little bit of a brush.
Right.
The next thing is, next time you see them, you take them and hug them and say, I was a little bit upset, مثلا. Or you may escalate this matter and say, this guy is the worst in the world. فجر في الخصومة, meaning an escalation beyond the reasonable limits in them. And we know about the hadith that says لا يحل المسلم أن يهجر أخاه فوق 3. It does not befit a Muslim to stay in a feud with a Muslim for more than 3. And the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam even says that وخيرهما من السلام من يبدأ بالسلام أو الصلح. And the better one of both is the one who brings peace. تمام؟ لأن this is إصلاح ذات البين. Mending the fences between us and each other. Very important.
لا خير في كثير من النجوم.
نعم، لا خير في كثير من نجواهم إلا من أمر بالمعروف بصدقة أو معروف أو إصلاح بين الناس. يا سلام. يعني most of what we say is really useless except for man أمر بصدقة. If you know that somebody needs and you go and tell somebody who has, by the way, Fulan is in bad shape, so he can go on. أمر بصدقة أو معروف، أمر بالمعروف. You see somebody who's not praying and you say, "Yahi, come here, pray the door, it's time." أو إصلاح بين الناس. أو the Quran إصلاح بين الناس, mending fences between people. والنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم says, هل أدلكم على أمر أفضل من صوم وصيام وصدقة؟ قالوا نعم يا رسول الله. قال إصلاح ذات البين. إصلاح ذات البين. Fixing in between people is better than standing in a salah or making a psalm or making a sawm. Better than all of these good things. إصلاح ذات البين. The rest of the hadith is وفساد ذات البين هي الحالقة. It shaves your good deeds. Huh? If you go around يعني instilling rifts between people, that's just the opposite. طيب. So, what is it now? Is it 3 or is it 4?
What?
آية المنافق. آية المنافق. The first hadith is 3. إذا حدث كذب وتوعد أخلف وإذا اؤتمن خان. In another hadith, 4 من كنا فيه كان المنافق خلص. إذا حدث كذب وتوعد أخلف وإذا عاهد غدر وإذا خاصم فجر. So, what is it? Are the two hadith conflicting?
It's all of the above.
It's all of the above again. It's all of the above. Huh? Sheikh Ali? No conflict. No conflict. The 3 mentioned in the first hadith are mentioned on an occasion. We don't know exactly the surrounding circumstances where Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioned those 3 specific reasons or traits of al-munafiq. Maybe he was hinting to someone who was there and he wanted to tell the Sahaba, look, into one of these 3 traits to identify a munafiq. On another occasion, that may have been days, months, or years apart from the first hadith, right? The Nabi kept speaking for 23 years. 23 years for Ba'ath. And by the way, if you count, you will find that the correct number now from both hadiths now are 5 signs. Because the 3 of the first one, add to them the 2 of the second one, إذا حدث كذب, if he speaks he lies, وإذا وعد أخلف, if he promises he fails, وإذا اؤتمن خان, entrusted he betrays the trust, وإذا عاهد غدر, if he gives an oath he doesn't stand by, وإذا خاصم فجر, and if he gets into a feud he escalates. 5 things. خلاص, you take all of that in its entirety as signals of al-munafiq. والعياذ بالله. وقال الله وإياكم شر النفاق والمنافقين. إن المنافقين في الدرك الأسفل من النار. They are at the lowest grade of the النار والعياذ بالله. Now, the rest of the hadith of Abdullah ibn Amr, 4 من كنا فيه كان منافق خلاص. 4 traits. If they are in somebody, he is a full-fledged munafiq. He said at the end of the hadith عليه الصلاة والسلام إيه؟ ومن كانت فيه خصلة منهن كانت فيه خصلة من النفاق. يعني be careful. If you even have in you one of these 4, you may not be a pure hypocrite, but you have part of a hypocrite in you. You see? To warn us. This is why all of them, these hadiths that came in this context, they all come in the context of starting with إذا حدث كذا. إذا حدث كذا. If he speaks, he lies. When the Nabi was asked, does it behove a Muslim to be stingy? يكون بخيلا؟ يكون مؤمن بخيلا؟ قال نعم. Yeah, he may be stingy.
It's possible.
Possible. Is it possible that a Muslim, a mu'min be جبان? يعني
Coward.
cowardly? Hmm? He said, yes, he may be. أيكون المؤمن كذاب؟
لا.
قال لا. Subhanallah. Then they asked him, can a Muslim, a mu'min be a liar? He said no.
Right, okay.
Yeah, but he can be a miser. He can be a coward, but he cannot be a liar. Is it?
So it almost sums up like
Nah.
a non-trustworthy individual.
Nah.
Whether he lies or cheats,
Nah.
he's just not trustworthy.
So yeah. So if you have 4 traits that define a full-fledged, if you find somebody with one of these traits, you can classify him just like the grades of gasoline, 25% munafiq, right? If he has 3 of those in him, he's a 75% munafiq, and so forth, right? Subhanallah. Walay, Mr. Rohan. Tamam.
What if he's a liar? I think he's 100% munafiq.
No, he's not a mu'min. أيكون المؤمن كذابا؟ قال لا. He is not even a mu'min.
Okay, so mu'min.
Mu'min, a believer.
Believer, yeah.
He's a true believer, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a Muslim, but he's not a mu'min.
Okay, so mu'min is a believer. There's another word with the M. Mu'min.
Mu'min or Muslim.
No, Muslim.
Muhsin.
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 What?
Giving beyond the limits that are required. Going beyond.
So that is a
in
higher
good
level.
deeds, higher level.
Higher level than
Nah.
a woman.
Nah.
Yes.
Nah.
And the thing about kadhib, there is a hadith that explains that.
Of course, the difference between Islam and Iman and Ihsan.
About kadhib.
الكذب نعم.
لا يزال الرجل يكذب.
حتى لا يتبع عند الله كذاب.
So
يا سلام.
he's not munafiq if he just told one lie,
مثلا
but
نعم.
if he gets used to it, that's
Nah.
it. He will be written. It'll be a characteristic
Stamped
of
as a
that lie.
كذاب. نعم.
It'll be characteristic
Nah.
of that lie.
And now we come to an area of language.
But what was the translation of? He was saying something in Arabic.
Why don't you translate?
Prophet ﷺ said the close meaning that a man would continue to tell lies
Okay.
until he's written as a liar.
Okay. Okay.
So there is a difference between one person making a mistake and
Right.
telling a lie, and the person who
Habitually keeps lying.
exactly and they're comfortable. It doesn't bother them that they
Yeah.
lie,
Okay.
and that's it. It becomes a characteristic of that heart.
Okay.
There is a hypocrisy in that heart.
Exactly.
Like a politician.
Yes, that's it.
Allah,
We certainly know one.
Allah,
We certainly know one every day.
Papa. So the point is, it's a linguistic matter that we have to mention, even to the dismay of our brother Shahid, يعني, who doesn't like the Arabic, يعني,
Why?
indulgence too much.
No. Don't misunderstand. No.
No, he just wants
I
translation.
request
I will.
you to translate.
No,
Exactly. It's fine.
Yeah.
There is-
No.
I didn't see any objection
Nothing.
from you.
No, it's what
I'm
I'm saying
objecting.
now.
And I
I'm
cannot.
objecting.
I
I'm
want my
objecting to
brothers
him.
to understand that
Yes,
I
no
have
problem.
no objection in
No problem.
Arabic. Just
No
explain to me.
That's what I'm objecting.
Usually he's my translator, but
He
he's not
does,
asleep.
he does that instant translation, just like the United Nations guys.
MashaAllah.
On the spot. No, what I meant to say here is, there is in Lugha Arabiya, in the Arabic language, the form of the verb makes a difference. Kadaba means lies, past tense lies, right? Somebody who lies is said to be kadib. He said who was said a lie. Is a kadib. Right? But there is another form that is kadab. فعال مش فاعل
صيغة مبالغة.
صيغة مبالغة. It's an intensified form of the verb. So if كاذب may mean somebody who on one instance said a lie. He is كاذب at that instant. تمام? But كذاب is somebody who does it repeatedly. That's the intensive form of the verb كذاب فعال.
وقالوا صيغة ملازمة.
ملازمة.
That's it. It became an
نعم,
attribute.
it becomes an attribute. Subhanallah. كذاب. Lies a lot, or that trait is so entrenched in the person.
Yeah,
You
it's
see?
part of their makeup.
نعم.
DNA.
صحيح. these are samples. of situations where sometimes you may face Allah, is it this or that? And you may wonder. It's okay. It's okay to wonder about these matters because we don't all know everything that is there. وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. We have been given only a little knowledge, part of the knowledge. Nobody has all. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us and teaches us so that none of us gets proud of the knowledge by saying وَفَوْقَ كُلِّ ذِي عِلْمٍ عَلِيمٍ. Above everybody who has ilm, somebody who has more ilm. Then there is somebody who has even more. Subhanallah. So that you don't get full of yourself. Subhanallah. طيب. One example that, okay, we want to, inshallah, try and wrap it up soon. An example that those who pray Al-Isha will have had the benefit of listening to its resolution because some of the people present here have actually gone through the effort to put the label and resolve it. I presented to the group of Al-Isha the hadith that says, and we can conclude with that and open the floor for general commentary. The hadith that says, لن يدخل أحدكم الجنة بعمله. الحديث says, لن يدخل أحدكم الجنة بعمله. None of you is going to get into Jannah by their good deeds. Allah. That's a worrisome hadith, Afi. When he was asked, ولا أنت يا رسول الله? Not even you, يا رسول الله? He said, ولا حتى. إلا أن يتغمدني الله برحمة منه وفضل. Unless Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah's mercy, descends upon me and His fadl, His bounty covers me, I wouldn't get into the Jannah by my own deeds ever. Subhanallah. طيب, and then we reference ayah 32 of Surah Al-Nahl, wherein the Mawla says explicitly, ادخلوا الجنة بما كنتم تعملون. Right? ادخلوا الجنة بما كنتم تعملون. You shall enter into the Jannah by that with those good deeds that you have done in the dunya. So now there is that apparent contradiction again. لن يدخل أحدكم الجنة بعمل. Nobody will get into the Jannah by his deeds. The Quran is saying, get into Jannah by those good deeds that you used to do in the dunya. You see the conflict, Mr. Shahid? طيب. Mr. Ala?
I still don't see the
You don't see the conflict? Then Allah يفتح عليك. Then you're better than a lot of us.
من رحمة الله.
How so?
Because He decreed it that way. It's a rahmah. It's
طيب.
not العمل. I mean, العمل is.
طيب. But that's you're interpreting the hadith this way.
No, the ayah.
The ayah?
Yeah.
ادخلوا الجنة بما كنتم تعملون. By virtue of your good deeds, you shall get into Jannah.
But that's the rahmatullah.
Yeah.
He made the path for us. So I don't see.
So you're taking it to the realm of al-qadar, right? That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had destined you for Jannah. He gave you the ability to do the good deeds to get there. It's a very good understanding. There's no harm there at all. There's no harm there.
I don't know.
There is no harm there at all. Absolutely. It's a perfect explanation. But it needed an explanation. It needed an explanation.
I have the same explanation with a little difference, as I understand, is that yes, your good deeds would be worthy of you going to Jannah, but ultimately it all depends on Allah's mercy, how He evaluates your good deeds.
طبعا, absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't you and I agree, as a matter of fact, that we may be doing good deeds, but these good deeds will go to waste?
Yes.
Allah.
Yes.
You hear in the Quran, يحبط العمل. Too many حبطت أعمالهم. مش كده؟ أولئك الذين كفروا بآياتنا فحبطت أعمالهم. فلا نقيم لهم يوم القيامة وزنا. The deeds, the good deeds that are supposed to raise you are going to bring you down because there is some fault, intrinsic fault in those good deeds. For Allah doesn't accept them. تمام? The same way that Allah accepted from one of the sons of Adam and rejected from the other. Both of them were presenting sacrifice, right? إِذْ قَرَبَ قُرْبَانًا. Both of them trying to do a good deed. One was accepted, one was denied.
So what about in the Qiyamah, the day of judgment?
Now,
When you have good deeds and you have bad deeds. And you've been evaluated based on how many good deeds you have. So if your good deeds supersedes the bad deeds,
that's
you
the
go to
measure.
Jannah. Done. But if you have more bad deeds and less good deeds, then it's up to Allah Ta'ala.
You have the mercy of Allah Ta'ala.
Right?
But it's more
even
than
in
that.
the first one,
Yeah,
even in the
exactly.
first one, if your good deeds exceed your bad deeds, it is still as measured by Allah, not by your measure.
Yeah, he measured it.
Allah measured,
He measured it.
And He accepts or rejects.
Yes, because you may only have, out of 100, you may only have 30 or 40 good deeds. But He, out of His mercy, may weigh each one of them 10 times more. So ultimately, your weight of the good deed. So at no point is anything guaranteed except for as for His mercy. And do your very best.
That's
Mr.
just
Hassan?
one thing. The key thing, and this is actually essential to the concept of ubudiyah,
أيوة.
of what it is to be a servant worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is that the abd never has a sense of entitlement.
Yes.
Okay? It's not like, oh, because all my life I prayed and I've memorized Quran and this. Now, it's like I have a guarantee I'm entitled to Jannah, I've earned it.
أبدا.
And there is the other where the person comes and the mizan is put for him and then the angel says, Enter Jannah by the mercy of Allah. He said, no, I've earned it by my deeds. And he said, okay, stop. Let's take one bounty that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed on you, like the sight, and put it on one side and put all of your good deeds on the other side. Just if a human being spends the whole life just worshipping Allah, it wouldn't be enough just to be grateful to Allah for one bounty, like the sight.
تمام.
So
a very good example.
we cannot feel that sense of entitlement that
أبدا.
I've earned Jannah for whatever. It doesn't matter what I do.
In fact, based on what you said, look at the example of the Khulafa Rashidun, like Abu Bakr and Umar. How pious and worshipful they were, but they would be crying at night in sajda, afraid that they were not good enough. They were not measured
And these
up.
are
this is
the heavyweight Sahaba.
And this is the attitude we should all have. That
Aywa.
no matter what we do,
أيوة.
we should be afraid
That's
that
the ayah you
No
mentioned at the beginning. وَهُمْ وَجِلُونَ.
نعم. أيوة وقلوبهم
وقلوبهم
وجلة.
وجلة.
نعم. أنهم إلى ربهم راجعون. The in Surah Al-Mu'minun. And the fact is, Mr. Shahid, that Abu Bakr as-Siddiq once said, عليه رضوان الله, لا آمن مكر الله وإحدى قدمي في الجنة والأخرى خارجها. Look at what he's saying. He's saying, I would not be content and feel safe with one of my legs inside the Jannah while the other is still outside of it. والصديق, الصديق, someone who Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم said, لو وضع إيمان أبو بكر في كفة وإيمان الأمة في كفة لرجحت كفة أبو بكر. If you put the faith or the belief of Abu Bakr on one side of the scale and the entire Ummah on the other side, his side will weigh heavier than the rest. Subhanallah. And he is not content until both legs are inside the Jannah. That sense of entitlement that our society actually breeds in us.
Yes.
and the perfect hadith.
We have to have it all and we have to have it now.
And that is the satanic nature.
حقا.
طبيعة الإبليسية.
حقا. حقا.
Because Iblis felt like he was entitled. That's why he got the highest honor.
طبعا.
And that's why he was jealous of Adam. Why did he get the honor?
Not only that, see how it is. I think I cut you. You wanted to say something.
Well, the first hadith you
Nah.
mentioned is the perfect answer that Rasulullah
Alayhi
sallallahu when he was asked, he says, even I'm not guaranteed anything except for the mercy of Allah.
Nah.
That is the way we should all accept it,
Ah.
that no matter what, even if the Prophet is saying, nothing is guaranteed for him.
And that's for a Nabi.
Yes.
How about you and I?
The rest of us
Yeah,
will never feel too sure.
Following up with Ali's comments, you see that the satanic reference that he made, what happened to Qarun? Qarun. When he had- What did he say? إِنَّمَا أُوتِيتُهُ عَلَى عِلْمٍ عِنْدِي. I have all of this wealth because of my knowledge and my know-how, because I have that. He didn't say what you and I say for every ni'mah, for every morsel that we put in our mouth. Alhamdulillah. You refer it back to the provider, the source. Alhamdulillah. It's nothing from you or from me. It's not because you and I are smart we are getting our risk by twisting the arms of this dunya. No, that's not that. It's بفضل الله علينا العظيم. This is why فخسفنا به وبداره الأرض. He was rendered to nothingness. Because that's a satanic reference right away. إنما أوتيت على علم عندي. So, any commentary before we wrap up this? Mr. Kareem finally gets into the.
I don't have a why is it? It's not-
You have a comment.
What they were doing, the accounting of how much good deeds you have. I just remember a few things. I think you get in a book at the end. You're
Aywa.
going to get on your right hand or
Nah,
left.
nah.
So there's no accounting.
No.
You know.
No, say
No, there is.
say it again.
Well, I
There
mean,
is.
for us to do the accounting. That's what I meant.
It's not for us.
Yeah, that's because
But
they were
it
doing.
is-
If
it
I
is
have
done.
good.
There is يحاسب حسابا يسيرا, there is يحاسب حسابا عسيرا. اللهم يسر
Yeah, but we
حسابا.
But
cannot
when you
figure
get
out. No, we cannot figure out. That's what
When
I'm
you
saying.
get it by your right or left, that's
That's
the
at the
signal.
end.
That's the signal
That's
of
at the
where
end.
things are going.
So
Now,
you cannot figure out how
no,
you're gonna get the book.
again, you cannot guarantee.
Yeah.
Again, you cannot guarantee.
And we talked about this a while back, and
Eh.
I said, I don't know if it's hadith,
Eh,
but you don't know what's gonna get you into Jannah.
no.
And then brother Shahid, he said something very, very interesting. He said, and you don't know what's gonna get you into Jahannam.
Allahu
That's
Akbar.
true. That's
You
true.
know?
Allahu Akbar.
And there is a Surah Al-Zilzala, and this stays with me all the time, is من يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يراه
Haq.
and من يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يراه.
Ya salam.
And مثقال ذرة is what is the
Just
atom.
the slightest, the slightest.
So
And by
you
the way,
don't know. You don't
Rasulullah
know.
sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to marvel about those two statements. فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يرى ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا.
That's powerful.
That those
That's-
ayahs
Yeah.
and would always marvel about them. See how the accuracy of Hisab is?
Yeah.
Nothing escapes him.
So you could think that you're doing good deeds, and at the end.
I'm going to conclude or not conclude. I'm going to respond to this by one comment.
Yeah, but I want to add
Yeah, go
something.
ahead. We have also two
You were
comments.
talking about credit.
خاتما يا رب. اللهم
Yeah.
صل.
Yeah, let's go.
Naam Kareem, go ahead.
I don't know what exactly.
No, he was just making a dua.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Credit. You say about credit. Something.
الكذب.
What?
Lying.
To Jahannam.
Lying. Yeah, it's okay. Can you lie to get what is that
Why
expression?
lie you mean?
Get out of murder?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I'll give you if you want, I can give you examples, but go ahead.
The simple short answer to that is, according to the fiqh, there are only three situations that you are allowed to lie in. Only three situations. One is حديث الرجل لزوجه أو المرأة لزوجها. يعني when a man is talking to his wife or a wife vice versa. And I always say, if the wife looks at you and says, do I look fat in this dress? You don't have to be honest.
You're allowed to lie. Little.
Of course, And there's one. The other one is in wartime, in warfare. طبعا you are allowed to.
Right.
The third one is, you know what? We spoke about it earlier today. إصلاح ذات البين.
Right.
I know that you are in a bad situation with Fulan. I come and tell you, by the way, he was saying such good things about you, and he didn't really.
Yeah, well, these things we know.
Nah.
Most of us know
But
these things.
these are the only situations that I know. You have a license to lie. Other than that,
But today I was listening to a dubs this morning.
nah.
Tarabulsi.
I know him. I know him. He's very famous on the internet today.
This is a
Tarabulsi ولا النابلسي؟
Nabulsi. Nabulsi, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He was giving an example. This is based on true story.
Eh.
Based on what he said. Syria, there was a businessman who killed someone with his
what?
car, and happened to know big shot in police, and he called, got to the station, had to sign a report, and the policeman, of course, because that guy is a big shot, he
Nice.
switched the story.
Falsified the report.
Falsified the report. And the businessman said, "Are you not going to sign this?" He said, "I killed the man."
Ah.
So he could have lied
Yes.
to save his life,
Yes.
but now he's going to jail.
Yes.
So
Well, there are again fiqh matters that resolve these things.
yes,
This is called qatl khata. Huh?
right.
Unintentional. Unintentional. And we have to make that very clear
But
distinction
that's
between.
relative when you're driving. That's relative.
معلش, no, if you intentionally go and يعني
Yeah,
that's
no,
something
you're
else.
driving, you're driving.
It's an accident.
Yeah,
كده؟
yeah.
That's called قتل خطأ.
Right.
Unintentional.
There is diya in it, not sijin.
There is diya here.
Yeah.
There is diya here. There is a way out to retribution, pay
Okay.
to his family. But قتل العمد is something else.
That's a different
That's another story altogether. من قتل مؤمنا متعمدا.
Okay. The other example, this was a movie.
أيوة.
You have two families, their kids burned homeless, okay? And these families are prominent.
Yeah.
So the whole movie is about, should we lie? I mean, they're prominent, so they have to be, give
Nah.
an example
Nah.
in their communities. And they're deciding, should we lie to protect our kids
Nah.
of going to jail?
Nah.
Because, they did the wrong thing. They didn't mean to kill him, but they killed him.
أيوة.
And you have the whole press
Well-
saying, so what do you do as a parent? Do you
You see-
lie to save your kid?
You cannot do that
No,
because
Yeah.
Nabi warned us about those people who when they had إذا سرق الشريف فيهم تركوه وإذا سرق الضعيف فيهم أقاموا عليه الحد. You see, when it's a nobility and he steals, when it's a poor man, then
Come here.
Then-
Yes, you better.
you see,
Jump in there.
this is a sign of demise for the ummah.
That's corruption.
we cannot play fast and loose with these,
Rules.
especially when it comes to الحدود يا شيخ
Yes.
كريم. الحدود حدود limits, that's the translation of الحد is the limit.
Because
تلك حدود الله لا تعتدوها.
there were people that came to Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. They told them
We
that
committed
they made
this.
had so they would die for that.
Yeah.
Yes.
They actually asked for that.
Say that again يا شكيب.
المرأة التي زنت.
أيوة.
Because she wants
وجاءت
to
إلى النبي
purify
عليه
herself
الصلاة
in this
والسلام.
life.
يا سلام. يا سلام, she committed adultery. Yeah, by the way.
And in her janazah,
أيوة.
somebody cursed her, and the Prophet ﷺ did not allow that.
No.
And he said she made a tawbah, she made a repentance.
Nah.
That if it was distributed amongst all the people, it would have sufficed them.
شوف ازاي.
Because of the honesty and how pure and authentic that tawbah was.
سبحانك اللهم رب. Mr. Shahid,
But my brother has taught me a good lesson.
which is
If he's driving, I should stay off the road.
well, by the way,
Stay out of the
this is
way.
Bismillah mashallah, one of the much better drivers than a lot of us.
Amen.
Yeah. I don't know if you know it or not, but he has a business that involves limousines and stuff like that. So this is a good driver, inshallah.
Thank you, but I
Not
will
like
still
the
stay
driver
off
in
the
New
way.
York.
But
Not like the driver in New York.
تمام.
I love you.
MashaAllah.
You're the best.
Now the other thing that you mentioned, Ya Kareem, which is really very important, and maybe I need to respond to that one too, which is you don't know what's gonna get you in Jannah, you don't know what's gonna pull you down in the hellfire, and there is a hadith to that. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us, إن الرجل لا يتفوه بالكلمة من رضا الله لا يأبه لها أو لا يلقي لها بالا يرفعه الله بها في أعالي الجنان وإن الرجل لا يتفوه بالكلمة من سخط الله يضعه الله في أسفل سفينة في النار لا يلقي لها بالا
70 خريف
يعني translation, you and I, we may utter a word that pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, min rida Allah, we say something that pleases Allah, when we don't even pay attention to it. We're not really intentionally, saying it, but it comes out just like that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may raise you up high in the Jannah by that word. وَلِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, the opposite is true. You may say a word that يعني من سخط الله, that creates hate, his dissatisfaction and upon you, and you don't even intend to, you don't even pay attention to it, that would bring one to the bottom of the hellfire. Again, this is another addition to the comment that Kareem made a minute ago about you don't know. So again, the last thing is be careful of what you say. Pay attention to what you say. You may say something that brings the wrath of Allah upon you. We don't want that. And we can, I think we have any other Rohan, yes, you have something to say.
I mean, just keeping in line with the spirit of this topic, I think it's incomplete without bringing that classical contradiction of all ages, whether humans are predestined or free willed. I think Akhi Alauddin wasn't convinced with any conflict in today's lecture, so maybe we can present this short case. What do you think?
I think we've heard enough.
Enough of
Fine.
Yeah.
Just stay out of the way, that's all.
Okay.
Tamam. Any other things? Inshallah, we can make it. Na'am Shakir.
Just a quick one.
Aywa.
When it comes to the deeds,
Aywa.
you can do all the deeds you want, mountains of deeds, but the core issue is the intention.
هو كذلك. إنما الأعمال بالنيات. All deeds are judged by their intention. This is the number one hadith in Al-Bukhari. The number one hadith.
In all, actually, the books.
All of the books. He's the one who first put it first.
Bab al-Niyya.
Because that is the gateway into everything in this deen. إنما الأعمال بالنيات. And by the way, Al-Bukhari, when scholars praise him, they don't give him the praise for collecting all of these hadith and traveling for so many years to put this thing together, as much as they praise him for the classification of the Bukhari itself. How he organized it and how he divided into different segments and different dawaween, and what he put first and what he put later. Necessary.
And I just want to